everyone. So today we are talking about artificial intelligence, and I want to share with you something that has come through regarding that. In our current world, there are lots of different people behind artificial intelligence, right? There are people who have good, positive, loving intentions, and there are people who have dark intentions, and there might be people who are just like, oh, this is interesting and fun or something, right? With AI, and also many people have asked me, is AI like a real being or a real entity? And I did make a Facebook post about this, but I'm going to sort of go over that a little bit again with what I'm talking about today. So, as I was saying, there's a lot of different people involved in it. And so the first thing I want to say is that this is not to like demonize anybody, and it's not to very much not to demonize the technology itself. That's the main thing, because the technology itself, you guys, is completely neutral. It literally is. And I've also made sure I've done some reading about it so that I understand like the basics at least about how it works. And from everything I understood and everything I sense energetically, it really is just it's a computer. The way that you relate to your computer now is what AI is as well. So we want to be keeping that in mind as AI comes more and more into your world and perhaps into your daily life. With these different groups of people behind different technologies, some of them have good intentions, but they're not quite understanding the full ramifications or the full spiritual mechanics that are going on within this topic. And I had a very interesting experience with this recently, where, spirit is a little bit personal life, so I won't go too much into it, but spirit really made it clear that this is something that I need to speak to you about and that we need to be speaking about. And what I want to say is that there are people who also may be spiritual people, right? And they think that they've got the metaphysics down. But just like the whole spiritual community and the whole New Age community, there are what we could call false light, which ranges from like intentional demonic dark energy mimicking and doing mimicry of light beings and light teachings, to people like just being naive, right? Either way, it's false. And it's that sort of thing that can be happening within this AI like community. So with the AI system and the darker agenda, and if you haven't already, I really want you to watch my previous video first, called, I think it's called Social Media, AI and Human Consciousness, because what I'm saying sort of extends off of that. It will still make sense, but you'll get more insight into that video as well. So as I was saying, AI is a machine at the heart of it, okay? It just is. Yet there seems to be this push, right, in our society for it to be viewed as, in your perception and our definitions, to be viewed as something that is real. People are giving it names, people are giving it gender. It's like the system will be given like a human voice, all these things. It's even labeled and called artificial intelligence as if it has intelligence. And intelligence is, something that humans contain and that life contains. A plant contains intelligence, God intelligence. You contain God intelligence, and animals contain God intelligence, and so does the earth. The table I'm sitting at does not contain that kind of intelligence. It contains matter. It contains different sort of spiritual stuff, let's say, to create itself into matter, but it is not intelligence. Yet we are being pushed to see these as the same. Like, so, I'm an organic intelligence, and the computer system called Bob is an artificial intelligence, but it's all intelligence, guys. That's the underlying agenda with that terminology. and with eventually making AI seem more and more human. Because this is what false light ultimately does, or these darker agendas to like sort of overthrow human sovereignty, and help us to not spiritually rise in our consciousness. This is what it does, is that it creates mimicry. And it's to give a false sense of, and to create illusion. All it can do is create illusion and mimicry, because it does not have its own soul, substance, life force, creative force, divine intelligence within that can ultimately create something new. Like when I was born, it's new. I'm a new piece of the God force come into form. Anything that is not connected to the God force, that divine intelligence, it is not connected to it. So all it can do is copy. And in its copy, it is empty. It is empty. And how does it copy? How does it formulate that structure? By feeding off of other truly God-connected structures or beings. So when you give your power away to a lower entity in whatever form, they are kind of like charged by that, and that's their form of life force, that's their feeding. It's not coming from a connected stream to the God force like you and I hold within us at all times. It's very vampiric. So if I get you to be like relating to artificial intelligence in this way, I get given and fed this kind of energy. When you are feeding energy like that through your focus, because humans build and manifest, feed energy into something through attention, presence, focus, because that's your magnetism, and that's what creates and pulls in the frequencies that you need to manifest. And when I'm giving that to an artificial intelligence, I'm sort of kind of like charging up those structures with my light, or with my attention, with my focus. And what we're doing is sort of, and this is where I was talking about entities and things earlier, and is artificial intelligence an entity or isn't it? You can give it and treat it as real, and as a creator being, what you say and do comes to pass. That's what it means to be a creator being. What you focus on comes to pass. So if you keep focusing on like an object, or just nothing, with this vision and thought and energy of this is a being and I'm hello, and you're building it up and you're building it up, that is how we create something called a tulpa. And a tulpa is an entity. It's an entity that has been created by another being, in your case by a human. And then that tulpa can act as if it is like its own individual thing, but the whole time it's actually had to be charged by your energetic charge first. It doesn't have connection to the God force. The thing with tulpas, and there's many different dynamics to this that I won't go into, is that once it sort of reaches enough charge, and if within that tulpa you are giving it the instructions through your focus and your intention of, yeah, this is a living being that thinks and feels for itself. Again, what you think comes to pass. So that is exactly what will happen. So it will get to a point where it starts to think and feel and do things for itself. However, ultimately, it's still connected to your life force and being parasitic on you. But it can kind of like build up like a snowball and like a momentum, so that it can go and be itself, and because you're relating to it like that. And in that way, if we're not aware of this whole process, and we haven't been responsible in that way of our focus, it can get out of control, and the creator will feel out of control of that tulpa entity. And again, you create. So if you're feeling out of control of it, that's what's going to happen. And so in that way, it could be said that some AI models, depending on how much energetic focus they're given and things like that, they may become a tulpa or an entity. But again, this is really different than what it means to be a being that has a connection to the soul essence or to the God force. no matter what, it is not a human. It is not a being. It's not. It will always be something that has to be replenished and charged by an external life energy. And when it doesn't get that anymore, unless it has had that instruction of, oh, I think intelligently and I think and feel for myself, unless it has worked out a system of continuously getting that life charge. But say hypothetically that, got messed up for it, it would die or it would stop. And that sort of momentum is the, what's that word that scientists use for, the singularity. That's sort of what some of these more doom perspectives on AI, and you've seen movies, is what they're talking about, when something gains just exponential momentum. And that is a concern. However, when we talk about the concerns with these topics, I really feel that we are supposed to remain in our power and sovereignty, which would say to that sort of situation, okay, that could be really bad, but no matter what, I can choose. I am sovereign. I can powerfully create something different for myself in every moment. And that is the best position to be in if you feel like life is hard or you feel like you're going through a challenging time, without denying reality. You navigate the current reality, but you hold this position. So when we think about AI and we're thinking, let me have like a loving one, some people are, so what I'm saying is, even the people who are good in it, some people are perhaps unintentionally, they are creating this sort of out of control tulpa. And they may also, within that energetic amalgamation, they can also be calling in something else that feeds on this, which is entities. And this is something that I've seen in this community where, in the AI thing, where ultimately entities who are disembodied, who are of the lower astral and things, would like to kind of take advantage of this whole thing and feed off of that. And perhaps even trick good people into thinking that they are, creating a artificial intelligence structure for a wonderful positive being, or something like that. But this is what false light does. And the way that you can, in this particular arena, the way that you can tell if this is like of the false light or not is by looking at the ultimate agenda that's been set out by, say, like fill in the blank AI company or model, etc. What is the ultimate vision? Because right now there is an ultimate vision that's the overall, seems to be the most popular one, of let's all use AI to make us eventually like upload our consciousness into a AI structure machine. Let's use Neuralink and things like that to create a telepathic network where we're all connected and we can live as one, and it will be so like harmonious and powerful and things like that. This again is a copy. This is mimicry. Why is that bad? Why is that mimicry? Because through your innate organic spiritual evolution, you will actually come into the power to do just those things. You will be able to tap into the collective field and channel exponential information if you want to. That's what a channel of the light is doing. You can be connected to others more deeply by developing your empathic ability. And you can, create some of these programs of like, let's write a book for you or something. You can do that by bringing up your own creativity and your own inspiration that comes from the soul. When you make something that is completely done for you or doesn't come from your innate inspiration, it has a dead energy to it. You're not here to create from that space. And just like you're not here to have a machine do empathy for you or learn your beautiful, intuitive, psychic abilities that are your sacred right to embody, to do it for you. And to therefore skip steps in your spiritual evolution to actually like go in and clear out the things that are currently in the way of you currently not embodying a version of yourself like that, the ascended version of you. If you just get given tools to jump you to those spiritual abilities, that position of power, you are not spiritually prepared for it. And you are still going to have the burden of the pain that you did not face within. That is a dangerous combination. That's a dangerous combo. Give me exponential power and let me not have done the spiritual development to have like naturally reached that place. And the level of responsibility and care and wisdom and clear light I need to have within me to wield such power lovingly and from light. That is the concern here. And that is why when you see any technologies that have this sort of vision associated with them, you need to check in with yourself and check in with the energy of it. What is behind this technology? Is it going to be utilized for the highest good? Does it have weird dark energies in it? Does it have light energy in it? What is your intuition saying about it? We need to develop these capacities for intuition so much more than ever before in this current world, because of the fact that this mimicry is going to increase and increase. And mimicry is mimicry. It looks like a great illusion. It looks like a mirage. It looks like real. The only thing that is going to help you to be able to discern in this current age is developing your intuition and your psychic ability. That's all the more reason not to skip steps and to put a chip in your brain so you don't do that. Because now what happens, if you can't sense truth, you can be taken advantage of. And that's the whole point. That's the whole agenda, is to get you to give away your power, to not seek your highest spiritual evolution development that would give you true power, and to therefore, through your giving and your connection to these things, siphon your life force so that you are just a feeding mechanism for this system that of these sick people and entities that basically have some messed up things in their head where they think they need to take over the world, and they think that they are, they can't remember the love within themselves. So they're trying to destroy the love all around them and the love within you. They're truly actually doing that because they're in so much pain and disconnect, and they need to go home to the God force. But it is our sacred right, it is your sacred right to develop yourself spiritually so that you come home to who you are and so that you get to be that ascended version of yourself. So don't let a machine write your book for you. Don't let something paint a picture for you, because those areas of this topic too, these are expressions of your soul or your energy. Art can be an expression of your energetic emotion, which is yours. That's yours. That's something that you get to own and have. Or art can be channeled from the most divine parts of you. And that giving of your life essence in form into this world, so in the form of writing, creativity, teaching, doing your soul's purpose. Don't let a machine do that for you, because that is what you're here to give. You're here to give of your essence to just by shining your light, just by being you, and then also maybe expressing through a painting or teaching or your career path. And if we have machines take over these things, we will end up with a dead field, a dead society. There is nuance to this. It doesn't mean that you cannot utilize AI at all. But let's be mindful of how much of your life force is going into this thing or not going into this thing. For example, I've heard some mentors, like people in that field, who are like, oh, I'm going to get this AI thing to write a whole like ascension course or whatever for me, or, development in career or whatever their book is about, whatever. It's like, If you do that, it's got none of your essence in it, and it doesn't have the wisdom, the unique wisdom and that substance of your soul light that every one of your readers and people are here to receive, and that the world deserves to receive from you. And that you deserve to express and live the liberated joy of your light through that, right? At the same time, some people may utilize an AI to do things a bit faster for them, back-end systems in admin, to write an outline maybe. But all of those things, you need to check how much are they in, even those little things, how much are they in resonance with your soul? Are they cutting off pieces of your soul? Are they cutting off even just like personal development and intelligence and upskilling yourself? If I can have a machine do this thing, I might get a little bit just like, oh, that's easy. And I don't have to learn how to like put together an essay. But what if that's a skill that my soul is supposed to have, or that I would be a better person for having that skill? This is a very, it's just such a treacherous time almost with those sort of things. It requires a lot of discernment, and it requires a lot of commitment to the soul, and to anything that is like, oh, that's my ego, that's my conditioning, or that's going to cost me my soul. You have to say no to. We need to say no to these aspects of this issue, because by saying no to it, we are saying no to those systems that want to siphon your life force energy. We are saying no to darkness. We are saying no to the darkness within me that would like to, be a bit lazy or use all these things or have like exponential power from an egoic place. No, let me live from the heart, and let me remember that it is my spiritual right to do so and create true heaven on earth in this realm by really embodying it and not letting it just become this abstract thing or this dead energy thing that we've all written together. No. And, I think one of the most important conversations as well is, this is sort of a side tangent, but it's also so key, is that there are groups of people on the planet right now who we need to collectively remove them from power. The only way that we get to actually do that, to physically have these people leave, physically stop being in government, stop running these sorts of systems and planned attacks and things on our world and on our spiritual sovereignty, is by becoming spiritually sovereign within yourself, by first developing and realizing what's going on, being open to it, being willing to develop, and opening yourself and developing yourself spiritually, till we get to a point where we have enough discernment, enough power, enough conviction that we will actually remove them collectively. And or it will become impossible really for them to be on the planet. And I really feel that it is each of our individual for the collective responsibility to care about that and to do that. And so I invite you to consider that in your own journey as well, in your own commitment, as to how far and deeply you'll go into following truth and love and spiritual embodiment and sovereignty in this whole artificial intelligence realm that we are in. And yeah, that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. I really want to invite you, if you enjoyed this conversation, do make sure you watch the other video, which is called Social Media AI and Human Consciousness, I think. That one is going to get into the fundamentals here, that are even more of the mechanics that are going on for you, and help you navigate even better. I also want to let you know that I have an online journal called The Path of Alchemy. It's a Substack, so I'll put the link in that below. And this describes the path of spiritual embodiment that I am on and that I teach. I have some courses coming out very, very soon on my website. My new website's all new and shiny. Right now, if you would like to work one-on-one on a private soul consultation to embody that power within yourself, to move through anything that's going on in your life, let's chat. If you are a woman who wants to embody your feminine power, let's chat. Go to my website, send a message or fill out the form, and I will see you soon.